Hi, everyone.
大家好，
Hopefully you can hear us all.
希望你可以听到我们。
Can everybody hear us?
大家听到我们吗？
All
Oh, good.
right.
Good afternoon for most of
好
you.
了，
Some of you maybe a little bit later, but I know some of you celebrate Halloween. Some of you have had
大
your
家有的人可能
100th
是下午，有的
anniversary
晚
there in
上，今
Turkey,
天可
so
能在
congratulations.
庆
But
祝万圣
we are so
节，
happy to see
还
all of
有
you
土耳
join
其，
us.
恭喜你们，非
What a
常开
wonderful
心
day.
看到大家加
So,
入我
but first things
们。
first, may we scan all of you.
首先，允许我们扫描你吗？
All right, let's walk up to the creator of all that is.
好，让我们
Everybody
一
take a
起
deep
上
breath
去，
in
来
and
到
gather
源头
all
这
the
里，
energy up
请
from the
大
bottoms
家
of
闭
your
上
feet.
眼
Go to your
睛，
space
集中
and
能
see
量到
yourself in a
脚底，
beautiful
往
ball of
上到
light.
头顶，看到自己在
Take
白
that ball up to the
白
sky and the
光的光
universe
球中，
through the
然
series
后
of
往
white lights
上
and dark
穿
lights and
过宇
golden
宙，穿
lights.
过明暗交替的
Go
光，是
all the
金
way
色
up
的
to that
光，一直
jelly-like
往上往
substance
上，经过厚厚果
and
冻
up into
层，
that tingly
然后往
white
上进
light.
入珍珠闪
The
耀白
seventh
光
plane
中，
until you feel
在
all that
第七
unconditional
界
love through every cell of your
感
body.
受到无条件的爱进入你全身每
When
一
you're
个细
there, say,
胞。
Creator, thank you for my
当你
life.
在那儿的时候，说源
Take
头，
a
谢
deep
谢
breath
你，
in
谢谢我的生命，
and
做一个
open your
深呼
eyes.
吸，睁开眼睛。
I believe that our subject is you're always enough.
我相信今天我们的主题是你一直都是足够的，这是一个超
Just want to
棒的
make
主
sure we
题，
covered that.
所以我们会确保我们一定把这个讲好。
And
Me?
you were going to say something, and I heard your
我
breath.
知道
No,
你
I
要说
was
什
gonna
么
take a
的，
drink.
说吧。我只是要喝一口水。
It is true. You are always
好，
enough.
这是
But
真
there are
的，
things that can
你一
always
直都
come
是
up in
足
your
够
life
的，
that can make
只
it so
是
that
在
you
人生
can
当中
feel
有
a
一些
little
事
bit of
情，
a
有时候让你觉得说
tinge
是不
or
是有一点
feel a little bit off
或
sometimes,
者
whether it's the
不一
day,
样啊？
whether
也
it's
许
something
是
that
就
has
是
come
这一
up in
天
your
而
day,
已，有时候
whether
也许
you
是这一
have
天发生的事
related in
情。
something that
也
may
许
have come up that
是一
time
些
that may
跟那个
feel a
时
little
间
bit
相关
off.
的一些
And
事情，
in
你就
those
觉得有一
moments,
些
those are
奇
the
怪不
times I
一
always
样。
feel
你
like,
知道，在
oh,
那
I
样
can
的
take a
瞬
little
间，你知
note,
道
write it down on my
我就把它
phone,
写
be
下
able to
来，写
do
在我
some
的手
sort
机
of
里
belief
面。
work later,
你知道自
and then
己
allow
之
or
后
do
要
it
做
in
一
the
些新
moment if
年
I'm
工
doing some
作
makeup,
啊。当然，如果
and
那个
allow
时候可以
myself
的
to be
话，比
able
如
to
说我
change
在
those
做
things.
化妆的时候，就可以
Sometimes
做新年
it's
工作。
that we look outside of
那
ourselves
有的
and
时候
think,
呢，是
oh,
我
maybe
们
if I
在
just
看
got
我
that
们之
extra
外的，
compliment,
然后想
or
说
if I got
啊，如
those
果我就能
this
够多
little
一些
thing
赞赏
here or
啊，
this little thing
或者多
there,
一些
or
这个，或
somebody
者多一
saw
些那
me,
个，
maybe it would make me
或
feel that
者
much
其
better.
他那个人
But
另外一个人能
really,
够
what it
看到
is
我，
is
那
it
也许
all
会让
comes
我感
down
觉更
to
好一些。
what's
但其
inside
实
of
真正
us,
的
how we
是
feel about
我们
ourselves,
内在到底是怎么
how
样，
we
我们到
truly
底
are
是怎么样
inside,
认为我们
and
自
who we
己
see
感觉自
ourselves
己
that
的，
are.
我们内在到底是怎么样
That's how I
的？
see it.
Yeah, I like it. That's a good way to see it.
是的，我很喜
Um,
欢，这是一个很好
when
的
we're
看
dealing
法。
with
我们在处理的事
understanding
情
and uniqueness, we're all so
当
unique
然理解
that
独特性，
we're
我们每个
learning
人都是独特
communication.
的。
And
我
I
们
was
是在
just
学
reading yesterday
习沟通，
how
就像我昨天说的，
one of the first styles that we learn to communicate with
我们学习的沟通的技能的
I was going to say
首
something
先
else,
学
but
习的
yes.
之
It's
一
always
就是
pressure. Always
压力
pressure communication
总
styles.
是压
Well,
力，
it talks
总是
about
在
how
沟
when
通
we're
的时候
young
有压
children, we
力。
use
你知道我
emotions to
们谈论我们的
respond to
孩
the
子们，
pressures of what we're feeling.
当他
And it
们
was a
在面对
really
压力的时候
cool
感受到的
article
情
that
绪。
talked about
你知
all
道有
these
一篇很
variables
好
that
的
lead
文
to a
章
lot of the same
讲的是
reactions.
所有的这些变量，你会怎么样去
Because there's only so
对
many things that
应
we can physically
因
do
为
in
我们
life.
有这么多事
There's so
情，
many
人生当中是可
things
以
that we're
在身
able
体
to
里面做
control and
的。
not control
我
within
们
our
可能会想
own
说，要不要
physical
控
body.
制这个？我
Sure,
们要
as
不
a
要控制我
baby,
们
they're
身
going to
体？
cry. They're not going to be able to talk. And
当
so
然了，就
responding
像
and
一个
being
小
able
宝
to
宝，他
say
们会
those types of
哭
things is going to be
如
a
果他
little
们需
bit
要
more
什么的时候，
challenging as a baby, for sure.
其
Taking
实
it
我们
one
的人
step
生会比小
further, there's
baby
an
还要
extra
更
amount of
加
pressure
的
that
有
we
挑战。
feel based off the reaction
而
of
当
what
我
we're having in
们
a moment.
在那个
Whether that's
瞬
in your
间，
own
取决于我们
cells
面对什么事儿，有可能有
or
时候会更有
outside
压
the
力。
world
那我们的身体细
around you.
胞，
Somebody says something, somebody does
会
something.
应对
What you
周围
feel,
环境，也许别人
there's
说了什么，做了
a
什么。
desire to have
我
put
们所
out
感觉到
to
的
have
是有一种
acceptance.
渴望，我们可以
And it's one of the
得
hardest
到
things
外
about
界
parenting is
的
figuring
接
out
纳。你知道， 关于
style
做
of
父母的
acceptance
很
they
大一
need? Do they
点
need structure
就是知道
acceptance
什
to
么
know
时
what the
候
rules
知
are?
道孩
Do
子需
they
要什
need
么，他
support
们是需要
and
支持
love?
吗？
Like
还
what
是
is
鼓
what are
励
they
吗？
asking for?
还是需要一些
This
自
kind of
律
reminds
呢？
me of our
他们
last
是想要
weekend
什
with our
么？需要什么呢？
grandchildren, where we
就
were
想
kind
到
of
当我们有孙子
dealing
孙
with
女
some of
的时
their
候，
their things just
有时
themselves, and
候
you're trying to
他们
find the
会应对他
style
们
of
自己这
which
些事
is
情，
best
然后
for
我们
each
要来找
grandchild because
到
everybody's so
每一
different. All
种
of
对
us
他
as
们每一
people are
个
so
人
different.
的
I
风格，
mean, that's
因为每个
what
人
I
都是
think
独
is
特的，都是不一
definitely
样的。
one thing in seeing each other as,
所以
well, this child
有
may
时候
need
呢，你
this,
是
but
看
this
着啊，
person
这
may
个孩子
need
可能是
this
要这
to
个，可
help
是
them
那个人可能
flourish
是要
and
那
grow
个，
because we're so
来帮助
unique.
他们更
Yeah,
加好
so
的发
even
展，
this
因为
morning,
我们每个人都
as
是
you
很
guys
独
came
特
in here,
的，
you all had different responses, and then the time
并且我
ticked
们
by
每个
while they
人
were
都
getting
有
things set
不
up,
一
and
样
you
的
had
应对的
different
反
pressure
应机
feeling.
制，还有
You
呢，取
started
决
to
于你有
feel
不
like
同的压力的事件，
either more calm or
你
more
也许会觉
anxious
得
or
更加
more
平
trying to
静
figure
啊，或
out
者是
what
更加
you
的
were
焦
going
虑，
to supposed to do
或
or
者
how
你
you were
是试
going to
图
do it.
去
Maybe
找
some of
出
you
你
thought
自己
about
应该
how
怎么
your name
应
was
对
going
某
to
一件事
appear.
儿。
And we tend to get into
我
overthinking and
们
overcorrecting.
会有可
These are
能有
why
倾
we
向，
say you're
有时
always
候呢
enough
过度反
is
应了。
because when you can
为什
communicate
么我们
like
说你一
in
直是
truth
足够的
and you
呢？
know who
因
you
为这
are
样
and
你
you have
可
love
以
and
永远
acceptance
的以
within
你的真
yourself,
实状态
which is
去
what we
沟
work
通，
on all the time.
对
That's
你
what
自己
Betty
感到
Only
非常
does.
舒适，这就在你的细胞里面有这样的感觉。
We allow ourselves to
我们
kind
允
of
许我们自
be
己
true with love.
就
And
是
that allows us
带着
to
爱的
kind of
真
take
实的
control
过，
of a
而
lot
无
of the
需
things that
去
we're
控制很
communicating
多其他的
subconsciously,
事情。可能我们
electromagnetically,
潜
or
意识在
wirelessly
沟
around
通
us.
的啊，也许
We're
是
basically
电磁
reaching
场
out
的，
and
或者
talking
是
to the
无
whole
线的
world
沟
all
通
the
的方
time.
式。我们
And
总
it's
是
not
在
uncommon
跟
that we
全世
take
界
these
沟通
pressures and
的。
we feel an action
而
that a
解除
person
掉
or
这
an
些压
action that
力，解
happened
除
in the
掉必
world was
须如
directly
何以
related
行
to
动
us.
应对某个
That's one of
人
the
的这
reasons
样的
why
压
in
力。
Theta Healing, we
这也
talk
是为
about
什
being
么在西塔疗
co-creators,
愈
but
当
we don't
中，
talk
我
about
们总是说我
how
们是
many
共同
things
创
that
造
your
者，
cells are
只是我
communicating
们还没
until
有
you've taken a little bit of
知道
practitioner
你
class to know
更多
not to
的
put that
学
pressure
了
on
一
yourself
些疗
of
愈
blame.
师课程之
And
后，
really, that
才
would
会
be
了
you
解
and
到
creator
如
about
何
that
不要
time when
把
you
这
start to
些
realize
压
your
力放在自
connection
己
to
的
the
身上。
creator and
真正
all
的
the
呢，就是
different
在源
things
头
that
与我
are
这门课
really
之后，你会明
working
白
with you
所
and
有
how
的
you're
这些
working
事
with the
情
creator
啊，你
and
是
how
怎么
that
样跟
connection
你自己
really
工作
helps
的，
you
你
to
是怎么样跟源
understand
头一
what's
起工
going
作
on
的，
within
能够很
you
好的
so
帮
that
助
you can
你
see that some of the things that are around you are
在你
really
之内
working with you and
的
what's
这
not
些
working
事
with
情，
you.
然后
And
你就知道怎么样去跟别
Yeah, so
人交
when you
流
wake up this
和
morning
反应。
and did you feel like you were enough? Or did you
你
feel
觉
like
得
there's
你
a
是
whole
足
bunch
够
of
的
things you
吗？
got to fix with
还
yourself
是
to
你
be
觉得
enough?
哦，我自己有这
And
么
if you
多
feel
其他
like
的
there's
事
a
情
whole
我要
bunch of
解
things
决，
you
我
got to
才
fix,
能够
all
是
you're going
足
to do is
够
keep
的。
fixing things.
只
Like
是我
even
们
the
很多时候都
process
在
of
试图
working on
修
something
理
within
一些东
yourself
西。
still means that you're enough. You're perfectly you.
你知
All the
道，
times, all
你
the
就
energies,
是足
everything
够
coming
的，
together
你
to
就
form your
是完美
cells
的你。
with all these memories
在
is
你
a
的细胞里
perfect
面有所有
system,
的这些记忆，这是有一
unique,
个完美的系统，
100% unique.
独特的
，There's never
100%
gonna be
独特的，
another one of you. There's never been one of
永
you
远都不
before.
会还有另外一个
And
完全像你一样的
We deal
人。
with moments and pressures where we feel like we can't see that or we don't show that to each
我
other.
们很多时候
Doesn't
呢，在
take us
面对
very
一些
far to
情
look.
况，
I mean,
让我们没有办法
we
完全的
we
意
have
识
all
到这
kinds
一
of
点，
battles
但
and
其实
and
它不需
frustrations
要我
going
们
on
很多的力气才
in
能发
every
现。
avenue of business and every avenue of country lines. We just
在所有
tend
的
to
国
move
家、
that
所有的
pressure
地
around from
方，
place to place.
我们都
Mostly
会
it's
在
because
不同的地方遇到
we have a lot of
不同
people
的
in the
压
world
力。
that don't allow the feeling of acceptance and
在
love
世
and
界上很
understanding
多
within
人，他们
themselves
不
to start to
能
carry the
接
same for
受
another
自己
person.
的爱，
You can't have healing.
接纳。
And when Mom was looking at that first healing, she was left with a simple choice.
当我妈妈她一开始做
She
疗愈
went
的
up
时候，她面临
when she
一
remembered
个
she
选
could,
择，
and it was you're going to be here with a leg or without a leg. Which one are you going to choose? We have lots
想
of
的是她的
choices.
骨癌的故事。你到
When
底
you woke
是
up this
选
morning,
择要留下腿呢，还
Up
是
until the moment you came in here,
选
you still
择
had
不
the
保
choice
留
to
腿？
click the button or not click the button.
而在你今天
You
登
chose
入
to
会
click
议
the
之
button.
前，你选择
Those those of you
是
who've
点
turned your
击
cameras on, shared your
还是
backgrounds,
不
you've
点击这个
decided
加
to
入
share
的
your
键，
backgrounds with us.
But what you're wearing
以及
today, what
你
you've
是否
decided to
打
do, how
开
you've
视
decided to
频
display
展
yourself.
露你自己，
Everything is different. Everything that you
Take it,
chose was
每一
amazing.
件事情都是
That's
不
the
一
best
样的，
part.
都是很棒的，这就是最棒的部分。
They're a part of you. And once you made those
他们
choices,
都
you
是
can
你
put
的一
them
部
behind you
分。
and know that it's enough.
希
So
望
that's
当你做了
you
选择
didn't
之
have
后，
to
你就把
go
它
over
放到
the
脑
top
后，然
because
后
you
知
didn't
道
overthink it.
你就是足够
You
的。
just stayed
我
true
们
to
很
your
多人有的时候
feelings
会
in
过
the
度的
moment.
思考，而
And
你
those
可
feelings
以
led
选
you
择在这个当
into a
下，
place where you can
感知到你的
take
感受，
information and choose to do
然
with it
后
what
知
you
道
wish,
你是可以接受一
which
些信
is
息的，
pretty much
然后
every
你
moment
来
of our
选择
lives.
你想要怎么做。
We get
这
to
就
absorb
是每
information
一个
and
人生的
choose to
瞬
do with
间
it what we wish.
真实
But
的
we're not
样
always
子，
aware of what we're doing
只
with
是
all
我
the
们并
information.
不是永远
We
都
process
意识
so
到
much
我们有这些选择。
that we kind of let the autopilot of our
我们有时候会
subconscious
让
take
潜
over.
意识的自动驾
And
驶来
as more and more information
主
comes
导
out,
控制了我
they're
们。
calling it a semi-automatic robot that
现在
runs
有
a
一些
lot
发
of your
明叫
responses
做
to your environment, to your world,
半
to
自
what's
动
going
的
on.
计算机。
And
这
as
其
you
实
become aware
跟
of
你
that, you
的
start to
潜意
flip it
识
off and know what
如
you're putting
何
out, know
进
how you're
行
putting
是
it
有
out,
相似
know
性的。
if you're communicating to the
你知
universe
道，
around
如
you,
果你在
how
与
much
你
you're
周围的
worth
宇
it
宙
and
所
what you
沟
should
通，
receive.
那么
And then you
沟通
start to
多
knock
少是
those
值
things
得的
down, you
呢？
start to
以及
create
你想要
physically,
接收什么呢？
understand that the vibrations
许
are
多人
unique
理
for you.
解物理
There's a
振动
unique
对你来讲，你是
amount of movement. There's a
独
unique
特的，
amount of diet. There's a unique amount of
有独特的
relaxation,
你的
sleep.
饮食的量啊，
And the answer
你
is
的放松的方
understanding
式，以
yourself
及你
to
怎么
know
睡
what
觉。
works.
你
And
要
you
知
try all
道，
these
对你
things
来
to figure
讲
out
什
that
么是
answer
有用的，
so that you can know
你在试
exactly
图
what
找
is
出
enough
你自己的答
for
案。
yourself.
所以你知
But
道
if you do find
你
yourself looking
如
in the
何
next
是足够
screen
的。
or the next day or someone down the
知道也许
street
明
and
天有
comparing
人在街
yourself,
上他
then
死
you're no
了，
longer allowing yourself to
那
be
么也
free
许
of the limitations that you
你
have set on
跟
yourself
自己
to
比
just
较
be truly
你
unique
给
in
自己设
you,
置了那么
the
多的
beautiful
限
person
制，
that you
而
are
没有只是
every
让你自
single
己
day.
做
You
独
could
特的
share and
你。
inspire
每一
everybody.
天你都可以
Well,
分
I
享以
was
及激励
we moved a
启
lot when I
发
was
周围
younger.
的人。
When I was
这
这让我想
understatement.
起
yes,
在
that's
我
very much
很
an
年轻的
understatement.
时候，
But one time we moved in next door
有一
to this
次
person who was
我
my age.
们搬
And
到
we
了另
moved.
外
I
一个
was
跟我同龄的
I
人
was
家
8.
隔壁，
We moved
我
in
大
next
概是
door,
8
and
岁。
he's waiting outside by this little fence to see who's
他
moving in to
正
be his neighbor.
在围栏边等待，
And
看看是谁要
as
搬
I'm
来做他
unloading, we
邻
meet
居。
each other, and we sort of
在我
hung
们
out
把东西拿出来
immediately
的时候
all
呢，
day
我们
long,
就彼此
every
见
day.
面，然后就后
Because
面一起经常
we had all
每
kinds of
天
interests,
都一起
everything
玩
lined
儿，
up,
因为我
everything made
们有
sense.
非常多的共
We
同
would
爱
play
好。
football and baseball,
我
basketball,
们会一
golf.
起玩橄
We would
榄
play
球、
cards. We
篮
just hung
球
out all
等
the
等，
time.
还会玩卡
We've
牌。
been in one fight,
我们就是整天在一起玩。
and
后来呢，
we punched each
我
other in
们
the face.
打了
Boys
一
do
次
that
架，
sometimes, especially young boys.
互相
And it was because we
击
were
中对
arguing
方的
over
脸
basketball.
年轻的男孩子有时候是会这样做。
And we never got into
是
another fight again. And we both called
但
each
是后
other
来
2
我
minutes
们
later. And we're like, hey,
再
sorry.
也没有打过架，而且我们就是在
We had all
2分
kinds of
钟之
extra
后就跟
communicators
对
that
方
were
说
starting
对不
to
起。
bring more emotion to ourselves. We were able to set that aside and keep forward. But when
我
we
们有那个能
left,
力把
I
那些
remember
东
very
西放到
specifically
一边。
not
那么
getting
后
to
来
communicate
在我
like,
搬
okay,
走
man,
的
well, I'll
时
see you in a
候，
little while.
我记得
And
就
we
跟
just
他
moved.
讲
And
说
I didn't know what to do.
嘿，好
I
朋
didn't
友
know how to，
我们马上又
maintain
会
those
见面的。
things.
我
I
当
didn't
时不知
know
道如何来
how to
维
stay
系
in
这样的关
touch.
系，如何
The
继续
only
保持
phone number
联
I
系。
can remember from my
我
childhood
当
is
时
his
唯
phone
一
number.
啊，
So it took
我
me a few
从
weeks
儿
to
童时
call him.
期能记
And
起
it's
的唯
taken
一的电
me
话号码就是他的。
sometimes
后
years
来花了我
to
好几
clear some
周，
different
我
things
才
to
鼓起勇气
see
给他打电
how
话。
to keep
而过了好几年，我
relationships
才
evolving.
明白如
Each
何
person is there for a
将
moment.
关系继续
But the
的
point
维持
I'm
下
making
去。
is when I
而在每一
left,
瞬
I
间，
felt like for a moment
而当
that
我
this
后来
pressure
理
had
解的
changed so
是，
much that I maybe
当
could
事
never
过
change or
境
could never
迁，
grow.
这个压力会
Because that's what I
上
wanted
来
to，be used to. It's
而我
what
可以
started
选
to feel
择我是
comfortable.
要成长还是不成长。
And
而我当时选择的
if you've been
是
with us in class, I talk
还
about
是
my
变得更舒
cousin
适。如
who
果你
became
参加
my
过我们
best
的课
friend
程，
when I
你
was a
知
little
道我
older.
有讲过我的
And he
堂
had a
兄
very
弟，
similar choice on his
他有一
journey, and he
个
could never
非
move
常
past that.
相似
He could never
的
let
经
himself
历，
be
他总是没有办
more than
法
enough
跨
to
越
start
过
to
过
be the
去，
answers, to
他没有
start to
办法
move
让 让
definite
自己感
direction.
受到自己就是足
Get
够的，
overwhelmed in every day.
这让
and created
这让
with a
他感
different
觉非常有
vibration.
压力。
I had the same choice at an
我当
even younger
时也
age,
有相同
where I
的
could
选
feel
择，
like
在
this
我
is
更
where I
年轻的
belong.
时
This is the
候，
only place I
我
belong.
觉得说，哦，这个就
And
是
move
我
past
所
it in
属
a
于的
different
地方，
direction.
我唯一属于的地
So
方。
we get going on this relationship, and then I
那么
move
我
down the road
们
and I
继
meet
续
Raina.
一起
And I'm still struggling
在
now
这一
that I'm
段
enough.
人生旅
Whether or
程
not as a person
之
that I
后，我
can
意识到
communicate who
怎
I
么
truly
样
am.
我
I'm
就是
hiding
足
parts of
够
myself.
的，
And we
以
do
及
that
当我
because
跟
we
别
want
人沟通的
acceptance.
时
That's
候
one of
如
the
何
biggest
做，
things about
这就是
understanding
这
who
样
we
的。我们
are
就是
and
会
why
想要
this
知
thing,
道，
theta healing, is so
我
great
们被
because
接
it gives
受。
us the tools to allow
这
us
是
to
为什
change the
么西
things
塔
and
疗愈如
recognize the
此的
things we
宝贵，因
have.
为它
We
给
can
到我们
change at
工具，
any
我们可以
moment in
意识
time.
到我们已
Even if
经
it's
拥
just
有的东
something so
西，以及
little
我们
as
可以在
why
每
do
一
I
个
feel
瞬
like I
间
need to
选
have this
择
acceptance
我
from
们
this
的决
person
定。
right now? Or outside of myself, why do
那
I
么
need a
我
compliment
是
from
否
them
需要
right
这个人
now?
的接纳，或者我是
As we
否
go
需
through
要
and learn
在
these
现在
things,
就拥有
we
那个
have
人
different
的赞赏
responses to
呢？
it, but Raina was not having any of it. Raina flat out said, like,
说是
look,
这
you're
么
either
说，
going to
可
be
是
really who you are,
当时 Rena 是这么告诉我的：
or
你要不就是完全成为
this
你
is
自
not going
己，
to be a possibility.
要不
And
就
it hit
是
me
这
really
没可
hard.
能。
It hit me so hard because I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean
哦，当
I'm
时
who
好
I
打
am?
击
I
我
know who
啊！
I
你什么
am.
意思？我是
Those
谁？
can
我当
kind
然
of
知
be
道我是
some
谁。
really hard words
这
when you
也
first
可以
meet
是
somebody.
当你
When
刚
you
刚认识
hear
某一个
somebody
人
say,
的
I
时候，
only
会
want
有
to be
点
with
难
you，if you're going to be your true version of yourself.
因为
But what I was saying was
他
is
跟你
that
说
you have this most
你
beautiful
我不
heart
可
and
能
soul.
能
Why
够跟
aren't
你
you
在一起，
using
除
those things
非
rather than
你做自己。
using these other words to make me seem like that's what I should be hearing and loving about you?
但是我也不希
Yeah,
望改变自己
so
真正想说
I
的
went.
话。
I specifically went home and
然
I
后
remember
我回家，
being
我记
stuck
得
in this
我
belief
就
work session
卡
where
在
I
了
was
一个
making
信念
lots of
工作里
decisions about
面
how to create.
啊！我
And
做了
Raina
好
was
多的
right.
决定，我
I
要
was
创
trying
造
to
什么
force a
？Rena 是对的，
a
我当时
perspective
试图去
of
推
myself to be
动
seen.
我
And
自己的
I
一个方
came to
面
the
被别人
realization
看
that it
到
wasn't
以
fair.
我想要的方式。
Not to me, to Raina.
可
That
是
she
当
was,
时
if I
这
was
个
really going
不是对
to
我，而
love
是对
somebody and
Rena。
start to show unconditional love that I'd seen, I'm going to support her in these different directions.
如果我当时能够
even
看到
allow
现
it
在
for
我所
myself,
知道的无条件的爱，
then
我就能够
I
以不
had
同
to
的
take
眼
that
光
look
去
and
看
go,
待。
okay, well, it doesn't matter what the definition of our relationship is.
其实不管我们关系的
It
定
only
义是
matters
什么，
that we're
真
able
正重
to
要的
step
是我
forward
们能够
and
向
I can
前一步，
support her and let her be
我
the
可以
version she
支
wants
持
to be.
他，让他变成他想要的那
And
个
as I
版
started
本
to
的
apply
他。
that, I started to realize over
于
time
是我也开
that
始
I
随
didn't
着
really
时
ever allow it
间
for
开
myself.
始意识到，我其实
I
从
never
来没
really allowed the
有
understanding
允
of
许
the
自
tools
己
that you
被
have.
理解。
Do you have every tool
我
to every
当时
problem
没
in the
有
world
允许你所
inside
知道的
yourself
这
to
个工
solve by
具
yourself? I mean, you have all the answers in yourself. You're
在
manifesting
你
the
的
answer
细
that
胞
comes
里
right
面有
next to you.
I
所
mean,
有
it
的
may be
答
true. You
案。
may have it on a history level, an
啊，
ancestor
也许是
level.
对
You
的
may
啊，
have
有
it
时
on
候
your
你在你
soul
的
level.
历史
You may
层，或
have
者在你
learned
的祖
something in
先
the
那，
past.
或者在
But
灵
is
魂
it the
层，也许
way
是
that
从
you
你
really
过
want
去
to
学习到的。
continue
可
solving
是
that
这
problem
真的
or
是你想
manifesting
要
going forward? Maybe
前
not
进的
always
方
be
式
true.
吗？是
And
你
that's
想
the
要
best
显
part
化
is
的
you can
吗？不
change
一
it if
定
you
永
want
远
to.
是那样哦。
When you start to realize what you bring
当
and
你
you have
开
enough,
始
you
意识
unlock the
到
opportunity to
你
see it
的
in others.
大
And then you
脑
unlock the opportunity to be
是
patient
怎样的，你就可
and
以
their
开
journey
始
of
能够
discovery.
知道别人是怎
And
么
it,
想的，
it
你可以
really
开
gives
始
you a
有这
whole
样
new
的耐
toolbox
心，
to create
Yeah.
with in your
你有
world.
这样的一个好的
We
工
were
具
talking,
箱，可
Irina
以
was
去在
talking
世界
to
上
one of the
创
people
造。
here in Columbia Falls. We
在
both
Columbia
live in
Falls，
Montana.
我们都
She's from
住
another
在
place and came
Montana。
to Montana.
Rena 是
And
从
she
其他
talked
地
about
方出生，
how
然后来到 Montana 的。
she doesn't fit
他
in
会谈
in
论
Montana.
他觉得他
Yeah,
在
the person I was
Montana
talking to.
如
Yeah, the person
何
Raina was talking to was saying, I don't
没
fit in
有
in Montana
就是融入。而
because
Rena 正在谈
my
话的
skin
另外
color is
那
a
一个
little
人呢，就
different.
说
All these
哦，
people
我也觉
that
得
I
我
run
不融
into
入，
are
因为我
saying
的肤
things
色不
like
同，以及
people
我
should
遇
go
到的人
back to
们，
other
他们都
places.
会
And
说啊，
her
人们
world
应
is
该
not
回
a
他
very
们
nice
自己
world.
家去。
She doesn't know how to fit in.
当时 Rena 的世界不是一个
So
最 有
as
限的
she
时
says
间，
this
他
and
也不
she's
知
talking
道
about
如何融
Montana,
入。
Raina
然
says,
后
I don't know what Montana.
是那个朋友，不是最友
I
好的
know
世
that
界。
that version
然
of
后
Montana
Reina
exists, but it's
说
not the
我知
Montana
道
I
那个版本的 Montana
And
是
the
存
person
在
kind
的
of pops
但
up a
是
little bit and
这
goes, What
不
do you mean?
是我所生活着的
And
Montana。
Raina starts to
于是对
explain,
方
look,
说你什么意思？
we
Reina
have
解释
people who
说
come
你
from all
看
over who meet
我
other
们
people.
有不同的
like
人来
you.
自不同的地方，
We
就像
have
你们。
people who
我们
live
也
in this
有
town that have come
人
from other
们
places
住
that come
在
see us
这
all
个
the
镇
time.
上，他们是来
We
自于其
live
他地方的，经
in the
常
part of
有。
Montana
我
where
们
there's a
住
lot of
在这部
acceptance
分的
and a
Montana
lot of
是有
diversity
着很
and
多
a lot
的
of
接
understanding for
纳、
who people are.
理解人
This
们
person
本
had
身
never
是
been
谁，
able to allow that version of the area
而
they
那
were
个
in.
人没有
They
允
were stuck in the
许
same
那样的
patterns,
版本出现，他
creating
们
a
卡在
smaller and
自己的
smaller
模式
area
里
to
面，
exist. Instead of
而
seeing the
创
tools
造
to
了越
expand,
来越小
they
的一个
started to feel
圈
more
子，
isolated,
而没有让他们
more
自己
alone,
扩
more
展起
alone.
来，结果他们就会觉得更
We
加
do
的被
that
隔离，更
when we
加
start
的
to
这
feel like
样。
we're not enough. We isolate
我
and look
们
for
能
a
够
place
意
where
识
we can
到，
find
我们
exactly
就能
us.
够知道我们并不
And then it
是
isolates them
隔
more.
离的。
It isolates them more. And it becomes a pressure response where we're trying to control
如
things
果
that are
总是
going
觉得
on
自己越
around
来越
us
隔离，越来越隔
in a
离，这就
safe
变成了
way.
一种反应机制来
I
应
can tell
对
you
压
that the
力。
biggest safety that I've ever had in my life came from
我想
knowing
告
and
诉你，
connecting
在
to
我人生当中
unconditional
最
love,
大的一个安全感来
just to
自
see
于
people.
了解无
I've
条
been in
件的爱。
places that are places I probably shouldn't have been, that I didn't belong, wearing
也
things
许有些地方我不该
that
去，也许我
I was
不
representing
属于
to
某
try
一
to
些
solve a
群
financial
体，
situation. And it meant that people hated me, not
我
because
也
they
遇
knew
到
me,
过有
but
些
because
人，
of
他们恨我，而
what
且
they
他们
thought
其实不
I
认
was
识我，
representing.
这只是基于他们理解中我所
Walking
代
into
表
that
的是
place,
什么。
that type of hatred leads to another level.
我也进入过
And
一
I knew
些
that there was
境
an easy
地，
way to break
这
it
一
down.
些
And it started by knowing that
越
you're
憎
enough,
恨
who
更
you
加的
are.
升级，而我知道如
Because
何
to
分解
me,
这一
in
些。
my cells, and I've
你
seen
得
Raina
知道
do
你
this
自
all
己
the
是
time. It's one of
谁。
the things I admire the most
对我来说，
is in a
我看到
situation
在
when you
Rena
can
身
radiate
上
yourself
我很赞赏的
and
一
you
点，
trump stereotypes. People walk in and
你
go,
就
something
是
feels different.
不
What is different?
不是不在
And no
那
one
种
can
固
take
定
anything
的
away
成
from it.
见当中，那么人们就会知道
You know,
你有一些不同，
kicked
你
around,
跟别人不一样。
pushed around, wherever it is that things happen in life, people try to take
不管
something,
人生
but they
当
can't
中
take
发生了
anything
什
that
么
isn't，given to them.
Because you know your own value, you know your worth,
你知
you know
道
who
你
you
的
are, and
价
you just
值，
send out love.
你知
So
道
as
你
all
到
these
底
other
是
people
谁，
were all feeling
你
that
仅仅
energy,
是
or
发
feeling
送
like
出
something
爱。
might be taken, or
那么你知
there's a
道，
battle
当
for
你周围有
possibly
些
their
人，可
lives,
能他们觉得
I
他
was
们
the
的
only
东西
person
被别人
walking
夺走
around
啊，或者有一些争斗啊。
smiling. Hey, how
有
are you
人走
guys
过的
doing
时
today?
候
At war.
你就跟
He
他
was
微
at
笑
war.
然后说
I'll
啊，
try
你今天
to
怎么样
avoid.
啊？
Well, I'm just saying the obvious.
是战争里面
Yeah,
我就是说这样很明
it
显。
did, the people and the ideas were not me. I
人
could be
们
me
的
in the
那些主意
situation,
和
and
想
there's certain
法
things that you
不
agree
是
with, there's
我，
certain things that I agree with.
有一
I
些
can always see the
你
beauty in
所
that
认同
choice.
的事儿，有时
And we
候
tell
有一些
people all
我
the
所
time,
认同的事儿
the，best protection
我会觉得这
comes
当中
when
有一种
you
美
can
好。
just see them with unconditional love too. You have so
Mhm.
much love
你
and
可以
acceptance for
只
yourself,
是以无条
that
件
you
的
walk
爱
into a
来看待他
situation
们。
and you
如果你
go,
可以完全的接纳自己，
okay, we have different points
那
of
么
view,
遇到
but
一些
that's
情况的
okay.
时候，你可以说
I'm
啊，
glad
我们有
your
一些
point
不
of
同的
view
观
works for
点，
you.
这是没关系的。
And I
我
hope
很
it
高兴
continues
你
to
的观
open
点
up
对
about
你有用，
It's kind of like this
我很高
weekend.
兴我们能够这样沟
Over the
通。
last weekend, our son came and visited us, and he was on a plane where
上
he
周
sat
有
in a
人来拜访
specific
我
place.
们，
It
他
was
说
kind of up in the front, and most of the
有
children
些
that
不
are
同的地
unaccompanied
方，
minors
然
are supposed
后
to sit in the back of the plane. Well, he didn't like
小
it.
孩
He was
子
the
小孩，
stewardess.
然
He was the
后
person that
我
takes
应
care
该
of
是
the
坐
the
在
people
飞
that
机
are in
的
the
后
first
面的。
class, and he was up front. He
可
did
是呢，
not
他被
like
安
that
排
this
在了前面，
child, who
他
was
一点都不
14, who
喜
doesn't look
欢
like he's
这个
14,
14岁的孩
was
子。
sitting up front. And so he
坐在
proceeded
他
to
前
let
面，
his words be known that he
所以
was very upset
他
that he was
就
sitting there,
讲出
and
了
then
他的
proceeded to
话，
make
他
sure
非
that
常
he
不开
was
心，他
on
坐
his
在
next
那儿。
plane in the back. Regardless of whether or not he was paid for to be sitting there or not,
不管他
it
是不
hurt
是
his feelings. And so he made it known that that was the
被
case.
付钱坐
So
在
when
那
I
里，
called
不
in
管
to
怎么样，
let
他
it
就是
be
很不开
known that
心。
that was something that
后
we
来就
wanted
给
to
他打
talk
电
about,
话，
I
跟他
called
说
and
啊，
I talked to the people at the airlines, and I said, you know, I have
我
a
给 给
concerned about this,
飞机
you
上
know,
我给
what,
航空
what
公司打
happens
电
when an
话，我
employee
很
talks to a
不满
child
意
so angrily
当这
that
个
they take it out on
空
him?
姐
What
对这个
possibly
孩
may be
子这
going
样
on with
讲
this
话，
person? He
这
said,
个
I'm
人
so
会不会有
sorry.
什
I
么
said,
问
it's
题？
not about it
对
being
方
sorry
说
about my child. My
对
child's
不
going to be
起
fine. What I'm concerned about is the person
刚才
that
说
was
的是
so
Rena 的
mad.
孩
What
子，
could
有人
possibly
对
be
他
going
很
on
不友
in
善。
his life that he could be having so much anger
Rena 说：“ 我
to be
倒不是
taken
担
out
心我的孩
on
子，我孩
somebody
子没
else
事儿的，
that
我只
could
是很担
change
心
things for
那个人
him and his
他会
demeanor
这
that
样
would
子
be something
做，可
totally
能
separate
是他遇
than
到
what
什么
he
困难
probably
了，如
meant
果
to
他
in
可
that
以
moment. And the guy was very taken
调
back by
整
the
的话，
thought and the
他不
pattern
会
of the perception of the way
这样
things were. And he
子
said
处
he'd never
事。
had anybody look at it from that
我只是很
perspective
担心
before.
那个人。
And when we
于
come with
是电
love,
话
when we
那一
see
端的
that
人跟我说：
people
从来
have
没有
moments, then
人
people have
用这个
times
方式来
where they
看
may
我
not be
自己。
doing things out of love, or things may
人
have
们
happened in their
在
lives that
不同
may
的时间
have
段，有的时候他们做
taken
事
them
儿
into a
不是
different
以爱
way of
出
treating
发
other
来做
people.
的，
It's
或者
usually
他
they're
们如何
projecting
对
on
待别
something that
人。
may be
通
happening
常这只是
horribly in
为
their
他们
life. And if
投
we see
射
things
了
with
自己人
love,
生
we
当
can
中
give
不
them the
幸
love
的
that they
事儿，
deserve and
那
need,
我们可以给他
because
们
that's when they need
爱，
it
给到他
most.
们他们需要的东西。
But I mean, that's a good example just because
这是个很好的例子。
it's easy to figure out what his
你知
motivation
道，
was.
因为
He flies all the time.
怎么样找
Most
出
of
他的
the
意图是
children
很
that they
容易
have to
的。
take care of,
你
he
整
stopped
天
having
飞
to take care of
行，
because
那
he
么多
moved
数
from
的
one
孩子都
section
是
of
被
the
照顾
plane to
好
the
的，
other
但是如
section
果
of the
你
plane.
从
He
这个
didn't
部
have that
分移动
opportunity
到
when
那
he
个
was
部
a child.
分，
All those things come together.
Sure.
And as
所有
they
的事
come
情
together,
会
there's
组
a
合到一
response.
起。当所有
How
事情
many
组
times
成
do
到
we
一
get
起
put
的
into
时
that
候，
response
就会有一
that we
种，你
can't
就需要
express?
应对，
And
做出反
instead,
应。
in our
你有多
frustration,
少次需要
it
做
comes
出
out
应对
as
反应呢？
anger,
有的时候我们
comes
会
out
感
as
觉沮丧，会
resentment,
感受
comes
到
out as
愤怒、怨恨，
maybe revenge, or
或
we're trying to
者
make
想要
up for
复
something
仇，
that
或者我们试
if would
图
have
要
gone
把
different in our life
某
when we
个
were
事
younger,
情，
the whole world could
把
change.
小时候遇到的一些事情，
You
想
are
要给拿回来，给解决。
with the knowledge that you have now able to
你知道，
create differently.
当你现在有你现在
You're
的
able
知
to
识的
open
时
the door.
候，
Today, you can
你
go
可
out
以以不同的方式创
and
造，你可以打开新
make
大
a
门，
slight change in your life that will
在
change
你的
the
人
way
生
you
当中做一点
communicate
点
and
小
open
的
up
改
50
变，
more doors.
改变你的沟通的
Heck, you
方
might have
式，
opened
你
up
可以打
50
开
more doors
15
because your cat
扇
came right in
新的
front
大
of you
门
to，say hi on the camera this morning. Cats.
然后你可以有不同的选择，可以比如打开视频跟我们见面啊。
You never know when these things
你永远都不知
actually
道
present
什么
themselves,
时
except for you
候这
do.
些事情
Yourselves know
会
that
展现
everything
出
that you
来，
talk about
知
being
道
possible
其实你真的是
is
知道
possible
的，
in every moment.
你的细胞都
And
知
we
道，在
walk
每
through
一个
life
瞬间，
recreating a
我
lot
们
of the
在人
same
生当中
emotions
创造了很多的
and the
情
same
绪，
situations because they're really
在那
comfortable
种重复相
to our
同的情景
subconscious.
中，这是因
And as
为
much
对我
as we
们的
do
潜意
not
识来
believe
说，这
they're
是舒
comfortable
适
to us
圈。
inside of our conscious self,
直到我们
unknown
也知道
things,
在意
new
识当
things,
中，表意识里面知道这
much
种
more
门
uncomfortable.
并不舒适，可是，在潜意识里面，这是舒
People
适
who win the
区。
lottery end up giving most of their money back after a short period of time because they go back
许
to what's
多
comfortable.
人，可
People who've
能
had certain things happen to
赢
them
赢了
that would be
彩
considered
票的
bad, have them
人，短
usually
时间又
happen a
把钱
second or
给
third or
输回
fourth or
去了，
fifth
因为
time
在他们的
before
潜意识
people
里
have
面
it
没有
happen
钱是
the
舒
first
适
time
的，而很多人呢
because
有类
it's what's
似
comfortable.
的
It's
模
what's
式，重复
known.
4
They
次
know
5
how to
次，
deal with that
因
situation.
为那是
They
他
may
们
not
熟悉
like
的
it,
区域。
but in their cells, they already know
他
it.
们也许不喜欢，可是他们的细胞知道
When
这
we
是
start
舒
to
适
knock down these
区，
walls, we start to realize we're
他们
enough.
对
We
此非
realize
常
that the
习惯。
situation
而当我
that
们
we're
打
in, we
破
can
这
be
些
enough in
墙、
no matter
这
what.
些
We
壁
have an
垒
answer
的
to
时
it.
候，我们就知道无
Then
论
you start to
什么样
open
的
up the
情况，我
biggest
们都是
doors
有一
of
个选
success
择
for
的。
yourself
那么
in
你可以
every
真
layer
正
of
打
life.
开成功的大门，
Spiritual
在你
success,
人生
physical
中的
success.
所有层面面
Emotional,
向，
mental.
可以
You
是
just become
灵性
a
上
complete
的、
version of
情绪
your
上的、
abundance
心
in
智
every
上
direction.
的、工
You're a very
作、生活
abundant
上的，
being.
And you're creators
你
of
会
all
允
your
许你
reality
自
all the
己，
time.
你
The
可以
biggest
是
step that,
所
that
有
people
方面
take,
的创造
whether
者。
you're learning the first day or this is the first time we've got to see you, is
无论你是第一次学习，
starting to
还
accept
是这是
yourself
我们
and
第一
know
次
that
见到
from
你，
the perspective of
如果你
unconditional love in
会
the
开
universe, you're
始
perfect.
帮助自己看
Even
到
the
宇宙
mistakes are
当中
perfect
无条件
mistakes.
的爱的观点。
Because without them, you wouldn't be here today.
And every one of those brought us to share this moment.
嗯，
And
如果
after
没有
this
无条
moment,
件的
it's going to
爱，我
bring
们
you
今
on
天
a
不会在
journey
这
to
儿
share
见
other
念，
moments with other
每个人
energies.
都可以分享你的每一个
You
瞬
just got to
间。
decide what you want to do with all those moments.
你只是需要
Start
知
to turn the
道
switch
你
off
决
from
定
your autopilot,
怎样
subconscious,
做
and
这
mesh
些
it
瞬
so
间
that
的
you're the
选
one
择，
who's communicating
关闭掉
everything
潜
you
意识
want
的自
in
动
every
驾
moment of your
驶，
life.
而是知道
Because
在你
because
人生
people are
中的每
looking for
一
you
刻，
and
你
your
都想要
stories.
什么，你选择什么。
So find a way to share them, seize the opportunities that do
所
so,
以分享你的故事
and
吧，抓
you'll
住
be
这样的机
surprised at how
会，
quickly things
你
happen.
会
I'm
很
pretty
惊
sure
喜的
that
发现事情有多么快
Raina
会发
just
生。
signed a small agreement to start to do some things that came about in about an hour
Raina
by her just being
开了个
herself.
玩笑哈，Raina 选择一个更小的
You
什么事
open the
儿，
doors and trust yourself.
来
We
做
live in a
他自
time
己。
where
那么请
we
信
can
任自
actually
己，做
have
你
the
自己。
job of being an influencer.
我们可以有
And
作
what it
为
takes
有
is
影响
showing
力
the
的
sides
人
of
的这样
yourself
一
that are
个
you,
角
that
色。
make you unique.
你是独特的，
But you don't have to even do that. You can do any other thing in this
而你
world
也不是一
and
定
be
要做那
truly
个的，你可以在
successful
世
at
上
it.
做一切你想做的事情，并且
As soon
是真
as
正的成
you
功的。
know what it is that you
只
love
要
to
你
do,
一旦
and
你
people
开
can
始知
feel that
道，
love behind every action in your heart.
你自己到底是
So we'd like to give you a
谁，
couple
以
downloads.
及人们可以从你
I'd
的
like to download that
每一
you know
个
that
细胞
you
的
are
沟通中
important,
感
that you
受
can
到无条
feel
件的
that
爱。
importance, that you could radiate that
是
importance,
否
that
要
you can
下
trust that
载？你
connection
可
to
以
the
感
creator
受到
energy
这你的
in
重要
every
性，
action that you do,
你与源头
and
的
that
链
people
接，
can feel it
在
from you.
所有你的行为当中，以及所有人
And
都
that
能够感
you
受到
know
你。
how to allow the feeling
你
of
知道
being
如何
enough
允
inside of
许
yourselves to know how to connect
自
and
己
create in
做自
every
己的
moment
感
with
觉，你知道
unconditional
如
love
何
and
连接
acceptance.
到源
If you
头，
like those
以及
downloads,
去
make
做
sure you
创
put your
造。
thumb up, nod your head,
你喜
say
欢这些
yes,
下载
whatever
的
it
话，
is.
请点头或者点赞，怎样都可以。
One more thing we'd like to do.
我们还想做一件
We,
事儿，
we would like to walk you through
我们
a
想
little
要
manifestation.
Yes.
一
We
起做一
want
个
to walk
显
you through
化，
seeing the life that you want, but we want to
来
add
帮助你看到
one question.
你所想要的人
And
生。
that's simply when you're walking
有
through
一
it,
个问题，
I want you to see if you've allowed yourself to feel like you're enough.
在
Not
做
that
这
the
个显
things
化
you're
的时候，
manifesting are
看看感受你自己
but
是
that
否允
you're
许你
enough
自己，
to be felt
以
and
及
heard
感
and
受
understood
你
in
是否已
every
经
one of
是
these
足够的。
situations. If you don't
你允许
feel
自己被
like
所
you're
有的
enough
情
or
景
that you
所接纳
belong
和理解。
or that you deserve it, then you
如
guys
果你
know
不
you
相
have some
信
look
或者
into
不觉
doing
得
your
自己足够
subconscious.
或值得的话，
So if you read the Fate Healing book, it's time
你
to
知
do
道那是
digging.
你的
Taking
潜
a
意识。
class, it's time to do
如
digging.
果你读过西塔疗愈的
If
书，
you're
或
an
者你学
instructor
过
or a
课，那么
master,
这
it's
就
time to
是
do digging.
要开始做挖掘的
Whatever
时
it
候了。
is,
这
you
就
get
是如
the
何成为
choice
大
to
师的，
choose
你
how
开
you want to
始挖
proceed
掘。
forward.
But
确
we'll
实
walk
是
you
的，不
through
过
the
你有你的
exercise so
选
you can
择，
take a
如何
look at
前
it.
进。好的，我们一起来做练
So here's
习，
what you're
然
gonna
后
do.
我们可以看一看。好，
You're going to take in
这
a
就是
deep
现
breath
在
and
你要
close
做
your
的。
eyes.
闭上眼睛，
Gather
做
the
深呼
energy up, bring it up
吸，
through the bottoms of your feet.
将能量从脚底往上，
Up above your space, you're going to see yourself in a
往
ball of
上
light.
经过你的空间，你看到自己在
Once
一
you're in
个
that
光球
ball,
中。一旦在
you're
光
going to go
球
up through
里，
the sky,
往
through
上
the
经过天
universe,
空，经过宇宙，
through layers of white
经
light
过
and
层
dark
层
light,
的白光、
through
暗
layers of
光，
golden light,
经过金
through
色
a
的
gray
光，
jelly-like substance,
经过果冻
all the
层，
way up to a
一直
tingling
往
white light.
上，进入珍珠闪耀白光中。
Once you're in
一
that
旦你
energy,
在那一股能量当
all the
中，
way in, you're going to
完
request
完全全的在里面
Creator of all that is,
下指令，一切万有
I
的源
request
头。
these things in my life now.
我
Thank you
下
and
指
stop it,
令，
stop
这
it, stop.
些事物都已经
You're
在
going to
我
come
的
down, you're going to
人
see
生
your life.
中了。谢
You're going
谢，
to see
完成
yourself
了，完成了，
waking
完
up,
成
going
了
to。work, and you're
然
going to see
后
your
你下来，
manifestations becoming
想
a
象
part
看
of
到
your
你
life.
自己醒来去工作，然后看到所有
While
你
you're
想
watching
要
your
的
manifestations
事情
become
都
a
已
part
经
of
实
your life, you're
现
going to。pay particular attention to
当显
the
化
emotion
持续的在
inside
你的
yourself.
人生中
If
发
you
生
feel like
时，
you're
那
enough,
你一
if
定
you
要非
feel
常
like
小
you
心自己
belong,
的
if you
情
know
绪。
that
如
these
果你觉得
things
自己不够、不
and
充、
yourself
不
can be
足，或
radiated
者
in unison
不
and be
属于
felt
哪
by the
儿，那
people
么你就
around
一定
you.
要小心。要
Watch
做
as
心念
all
工
the
作，要
things
调
you
整自己。
manifest come into your life,
好，现在观
all
看自己
making
所
sure
有
you
的显
have
化都已经在人生
that
中实
connection
现了，
with yourself, knowing how
确保
important
你
you
有
are,
你跟你自己的链接，知道你
knowing
自
that
己是
you're
重
enough.
要的，知道你是足够的。
If you don't, you'll be able to take some notes and take a
如
look
果
as
你
to
不
what's
觉得
blocking you from accepting
是
that
足
in
够
your
的话
life.
呢，请记下笔记，
When
知
you're
道自己
finished,
有一些阻碍，之后要去对此
go
进行
back
工
up
作，
to that tingly
全部
white
做 做完之
energy
后，往上回到源头
and
的白
open
光
your
当中，
eyes.
睁开眼睛。